Hello, good morning everyone. Myself Purezi Rehana, working as a nursing tutor in Knowledge Institute of Nursing. So today in Child Health Nursing, we will learn about rheumatic heart disease and rheumatic fever. So first, rheumatic fever. So acute rheumatic fever is an acute autoimmune collagen disease occurs as a hypersensitivity reaction to group A beta hemolytic streptococci infection. So firstly, what happens in ARF? So group A beta hemolytic streptococci bacteria, this bacteria enters in our body. So when this bacteria enters in our body, our immune system will go for hypersensitivity reaction, that is overreaction, and our own immune system will attack our own healthy cells and healthy tissues. So this condition is characterized by inflammatory lesions on heart, joints and blood vessels and others. So in this condition, that is acute rheumatic fever, inflammatory lesions are seen on heart, joints and blood vessels. So we can say that our immune system are attacking the tissues of heart, joints and blood vessels. Then another definition is a disease that can result from inadequately treated strep throat or scarlet fever. So acute rheumatic fever, it is disease condition result because of the inadequately treated strep throat. So strep throat disease is also a disease condition that occurs due to the infection of group A beta hemolytic streptococci bacteria. So this bacteria causes firstly strep throat, and if strep throat is not treated, then disease will occur. That disease is called as acute rheumatic fever. Rheumatic fever causes inflammation, especially of the heart, blood vessels, and joints, we have seen previously. Next is incidence rate. So incidence rate is 5 per thousand approximately. So next is etiology. So predisposing factors of acute rheumatic fever are first is genetic predisposition, then temperate climate, then winter season, unhygienic living condition, overcrowding in the family, poor dietary intake, and increasing immunological response. So these are the predisposing factors. Next is epidemiology. See, important cause of chronic disease and death in developing world. So this acute rheumatic fever is one of the important cause of chronic disease and also the reason for death in developing world. Developing world means the countries that are in developing list. Then underdiagnosed and undertreated. So this acute rheumatic fever is not diagnosed at appropriate time and it is undertreated. Then it is mostly seen in ages 5 to 15 years better. So these ages person are most susceptible. Then common in third world countries, then environmental factors that affects are overcrowding, poor sanitation, poverty and poor housing. Then incidence is more during fall, winter and early spring. The etiology of rheumatic fever is not clear, but there is strong associative with beta hemolytic streptococci bacteria. So the main cause is not clear. So we can say that exact causes are known, but it is having a strong relation with this bacteria, that is group A beta hemolytic streptococci. Next is pathophysiology. So first there will be infection of group A beta streptococcus. So first this bacteria will enter into our body. Then immune response resulting in formation of antibody against group A beta hemolytic streptococcus. So our body will form antibodies against these bacteria. So antibodies form exhibit cross reactivity with the host tissue. So despite of attacking these bacteria, our antibodies will attack our own healthy tissues, that is host tissue, heart and joints. Antibodies act on the normal tissues and cause the damage. So this antibody will act on the normal tissues, that is healthy tissues, and will cause the damage. Next is clinical manifestation. So the clinical feature of acute rheumatic fever can be grouped as major, minor and essential manifestation. Streptococcus sore throat. So this is the picture of culture positive case of streptococcal pharyngitis with typical tonsillar in a 16-year-old child. Okay, now we will see sign and symptoms as major manifestation, minor manifestations, and essential manifestation. So first, major manifestation. So in major manifestation, the symptoms will be carditis, polyarthritis, chorea, and subcutaneous nodules. So first, chorea. Chorea means it is a purposeless, involuntary, rapid movement usually associated with muscle weakness and speech disturbance. So what happens? There will be muscle weakness, as you have seen that it is also affecting the joints. So there will be muscle weakness, and because of muscle weakness there will be, we will see involuntary movements, that is not according to the will. So involuntary movements will be seen in the patient who is having acute rheumatic fever, so that is called as chorea. So this is the picture of chorea. So it is also called as like dancing movements. And next is subcutaneous nodules. It is found as firm, painless nodule over the extensor surface of certain joints, elbows, knees, and wrists. So subcutaneous nodules means painless nodules types we will see on the external surface of certain joints. So, we will see these nodules over elbows, knees, and wrists. So this is the picture of subcutaneous nodules. Then next symptom is carditis. So carditis means it is an early manifestation of rheumatic fever as pericarditis, that is pericarditis, myocarditis, and endocarditis. Okay, carditis means the word only indicates itis means inflammation, and carditis means heart. So carditis means inflammation of the heart. So in carditis, inflammation is seen on all the three layers of the heart, that is pericardium, myocardium, and endocardium. So it is termed as inflammation on these three layers is called as pericarditis, myocarditis, and endocarditis. So this is one of the early manifestation, that is early symptoms that we will see in rheumatic fever patient. Evidence as presence of significant murmur, ECG changes, cardiac enlargement, and features of heart failure. So this we can identify carditis by these features. So that is significant murmur sound will be present, then ECG will change, then cardiac enlargement and features of heart failure. So this is the picture in that we can see the layers of the heart. So myocardium, endocardium, and pericardium. So inflammation of these three layers is called as carditis. And next is polyarthritis. It is usually fleeting or migratory type of joint inflammation with pain, decreased active movements, warmth, tenderness, redness, and swelling. So in polyarthritis, migratory type of joint inflammation with pain. Migratory type means it will migrate from one joint to another joint. So inflammation will be migrating and also pain will be migrating. Then the whatever joint is affected, so in that we will see decreased movement, then we will feel warmness there, then tenderness, also redness will be present, and swelling will be present. So on the right hand side we can see the picture of polyarthritis. Then two or more joints are affected in the polyarthritis. Commonly knees is affected, then ankles and elbows are involved, but sometimes smaller joints may also be affected. The next symptom is erythema marginatum. So it is pink macular non-itching rash found mainly over trunk, sometimes on the extremities but never on the face. So in erythema marginatum, pink type of rashes will be present that are non-itching, and these rashes are mainly found over trunk, and sometimes this will also be found on extremities but it will never be present on the face. It is transient, that is not for a long period, doesn't last for a long period, and brought only by heat and migrates from place to place. So this is the picture of erythema marginatum. Again, this is also the closer view of erythema marginatum. Okay, next is minor manifestation. So previously we have seen major manifestations. Now minor manifestation. So in minor manifestation, fever will be present. Then ECG changes with prolonged ER interval. Then elevate ESR, that is erythrocyte sedimentation rate. Then essential criteria in that elevated ASO titer indicates streptococcal infection. Then positive throat swab culture, that is streptococcal infection. Then in other manifestation, pericardial pain will be present, then abdominal pain will be present, headache will be there, general weakness, tachycardia, sweating, vomiting, skin rash, anemia, pleuritis, and weight loss. So these are the signs and symptoms of acute rheumatic fever. Next is diagnosis evaluation. So in diagnostic test, we will go for Doppler echo, then endomyocardial biopsy, then chest X-ray, ECG. In blood test, we will go for ESR, then ASO titer and WBC count. Then laboratory findings, in it we will find high ESR rate, then anemia, leukocytosis, that is increase in WBC count. Then elevated C-reactive protein, then ASO titer. So throat culture, so it indicates positive BH streptococci. Then in laboratory findings, again ECG. In ECG, there will be prolonged PR interval. Then in 2D echocardiography, we can detect valve edema, then mitral regurgitation, left atrium and left ventricle dilatation, and decreased contractility. Next is management of acute rheumatic fever. So first we have to provide enough bed rest to the patient. Then we have to provide nutritious diet, that is provide of proteins and vitamins. Then salt restriction is not necessary unless congestive cardiac failure is present. Then we have to avoid rich spicy food. Then antibiotic therapy is given. So in antibiotic therapy we are administering penicillin. So penicillin is administered after skin test to eradicate streptococcal infection. So to eradicate this streptococcal infection, we are administering penicillin. So firstly, before administering penicillin in a large dose, we are giving a skin test. So penicillin 4 lakh unit deep intramuscularly twice a day is given for 10 to 14 days. Then benzathine penicillin, that is also an antibiotic, is given for 1.2 mega units every 21 days or 0.6 mega units every 15 days. Then oral penicillin, that is 4 lakh unit to 50 mg every 4 to 6 hours for 10 to 14 days. And erythromycin can be used in penicillin sensitive patients. So as previously only we have seen that before administering penicillin, we are doing skin test. So skin test is positive, so we have to not administer penicillin, but in place of penicillin we are administering erythromycin. Then next is aspirin. So aspirin is administered as suppressive therapy to control pain and inflammation of joint. So in major manifestation, we have seen polyarthritis. Then we have seen that pain will be present and inflammation of joint will be there. So to suppress these things, we are administering aspirin. Then dose of aspirin is 90 to 120 mg per kg per day in 4 divided course. It may be needed for 12 weeks. Then steroids we are giving, that is prednisolone therapy is given as suppressive therapy along with aspirin. So the initial dose of this prednisolone is 40 to 60 mg per day or 2 mg per kg per day in divided 4 doses or 7 to 10 days. Then management of chorea, that is involuntary movement, that is also we have seen in major manifestation. So for the management of chorea, this can be done with diazepam or phenobarbital. Then treatment of complication if present, symptomatic care to be provided accordingly. Prognosis is rheumatic fever can reoccur whenever the individual experiences new metahemolytic streptococcal infection if not on prophylactic medicines. So once this infection occurs, then another time if new metahemolytic streptococci bacteria enters in our body, again the individual will experience the same thing, that is rheumatic fever. Good prognosis for older age group, and if no carditis occur, the initial attack. So previously we have seen that the early symptom of acute rheumatic fever is carditis. So if no carditis is present and the age of the child is also old, then the prognosis will be good. But if the age of the child is young and also there is previously carditis was present as an initial attack, then the prognosis will be bad. So this was all about acute rheumatic fever. I hope that you all understood. In next video, we will learn about rheumatic heart disease. So till that, keep watching my video. Thank you, everyone.